right. That is East Philly by Matt Cappy. He is on my platform today. Welcome, Matt.
Hey, thank you very much, Brenda. It's so nice to be here with you.
Wow. You can really blow that horn. And thanks to Myron Ruffin that has referred me to you. I would
Absolutely.
have never
Many thanks to
known
Myron.
if you was out there. I would never know. And you can really blow your horn. Tell us where you're calling from, Matt.
So I'm calling from right over the bridge from Philadelphia in a town called Collingswood, New Jersey, which I affectionately call East Philly.
All right.
Hence the term East Philly. So if any of your listeners have been to Philadelphia, there are official neighborhoods, North Philly, South Philly, and West Philly. The most east part of the city is Society Hill now, and that's when Ben Franklin was around. That was where City Hall was and stuff, like where the Declaration of Independence was signed. But that neighborhood never became known as "quote unquote" East Philly. So I liken the area that I was raised in, kind of like being from Astoria, Queens to Manhattan, or like Brooklyn to Manhattan. So like we're right over the bridge to Philadelphia.
All right. Thank you for that information. Wow.
So you're welcome.
As I was spinning East Philly, I did my research on that. Go ahead and tell curious listeners out there about that track and what inspired you to do it and when it was released. What year was that?
So that's off my debut album. My debut album is called Church and State, and that came out in June of 2017. So we're marking 4 years this June. The inspiration, which a lot of my music is somewhere in between, like Donald Byrd meets Freddie Hubbard, kind of lane. So I'm blessed. Philly is we're blessed here to have just a plethora of amazing musicians, and on that track, Steve McKee is playing drums, and the great Anthony Tidd is playing bass. Clay Sears is playing guitar. You have Eric Wortham and also Justin Gilbert on keys, and then my friend Mike Burton on sax. So tons of great musicians.
Yes, I had Mike Burton on my platform many months ago. I was really doing research, and I'm like, wow, you had played with a lot of other musicians, and you had collaborated with Kirk Franklin, Mary J. Blige, Queen Latifah, Patti LaBelle. You had been around, so go right ahead and introduce yourself. What would you tell the curious listeners about yourself?
So my name is Matt Cappy. I'm raised in New Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. My mother's from West Virginia, so I got that Southern soul in me, and my father's from New York City, so I have that New York mind going on. But all through the mix of the Philadelphia music community, and the sound of Philadelphia, and Coltrane and McCoy Tyner and Lee Morgan and the history of Philadelphia jazz live. So I came out of college, went to University of the Arts, and a couple years out of college, I basically won an audition and was chosen to be in Miss Jill Scott's first band, and then I was touring. That started the touring years, and that band was called Fatback Cassie, and I'm on the gold-selling live album of Jill. It's called 826 Plus. And basically that's where it all started, Brenda. Like I started touring with Jill, and then just met other musicians in the touring network, and was able to play with a bunch of A-list artists now, and it's all been a blessing.
Wow, you had a life. I'm telling you, you still having fun, ain't you? Wow.
I'm still swinging the bat. I'm still swinging the bat, or as I say, the waves keep rolling in, so I'm gonna get my surfboard and keep riding them.
Right.
It's been a blessing, definitely.
Well, I love your music. I love the trumpet, the sound of the trumpet. So we will mention the newest single, Look at Us Now. What's the story behind that track before I spin it? It's already being released. What's the story behind that track right there?
So that, that's interesting. That was one of the first ones I wrote for my new record, and there's an instrumental of it. It originally came out as an instrumental. Well, not came out, but I have an instrumental version that will also be on the album, and I added flugelhorns to that and some percussion. But you mentioned Miss Patti LaBelle. So in the touring band of Miss Patti is two amazing singers, Brenda Roy and also B. Slade.
Yeah.
So, one of these weekends away, B. Slade and I were just chopping up music and writing different songs for other people, actually. And then I said, hey, I have a new album almost getting ready. He said, man, I got to hear some of it. Let me know. And then so I started with that track, and, he fell in love with the melody. He's like, wow, what a beautiful melody.
Yeah.
And then we started thinking of, like, storylines. And essentially Look at Us Now is a story of my wife and I. And we've been together 20 years, married 10.
Wow.
We have 2 boys. We have 2 boys, 8 and 6. Thank you very much. But, as anyone knows who are in a relationship, married or not, obviously it takes work. So this is a story of, of not leaving the relationship and dealing with the tough times, and both parties realizing that there's better times ahead, and it ultimately will be worth it getting through the tough times. So sort of like, Look at Us Now. If you would see my wife and I go to a restaurant or this and that, you would just think, oh, 2 attractive people, they must have the easiest life in the world, But it couldn't be further from the truth, and we all have our personal struggles and things we need to get better at, and that's what the words are that B. Slade and I wrote too. So
okay.
That's the story.
Well, all right. Here is Look at Us Now featuring B. Slade and Brenda Roy. We will be right back. Cappy. All right. Yes. All